Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Thomas Carter Rochester, aka Thor, son of Dale.
And my name is David Thompson, aka I finally watched Clone Wars.
It's about damn time. And we want to welcome you to Lights, Thunder, Action. David, what'd you think of Clone Wars?
It was fantastic. I had no and honestly, like if you guys follow the show, we've been talking about this pretty much every episode, how I was not watching season 7 of Clone Wars as it was being released. I just got busy and it just kind of became a thing where I was like, once it was a few weeks in, I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to wait until it's all over and then I'll just watch the whole thing at once. I'm genuinely glad I did that because I think I really enjoyed, because each episode was so short and there was like, it was really just 3 chunks. Like it was just like 3 stories that were in the course of the 12 episodes. I'm actually really glad I did it the way I did because it made me be able to just like plow through it at my own speed. And especially the last 4 episods, spoilers. Like, I mean, there was one night where it was, I watched like episode 9, I think, like by itself. And then it was late at night and I watched episode 10. I'm like, okay, I have to watch episode 11 now. And then I had to watch episode 12 and I just finished it out just right then. And I'm actually really glad I did it that way looking back because it was so enjoyable just to be able to plow through. And I can't imagine having to wait a week for each one because each episode, it felt like it was just like, okay, on to the next, you know? And yeah, I loved it though. Like it was so cool. Spoilers. It was so cool how it crossed over. I mean, this isn't like a huge spoiler, but it crosses over with Revenge of the Sith. Like you're seeing parallel scenes in some points. You're seeing like just different aspects of the same thing happening. You know, Order 66. We're getting the different. I loved how they did that because I wasn't sure going in if that's what it. I mean, I'd kind of seen some stuff and I knew there was that big mall fight in episode. What was that, 10? Like with the one where Ray Park did the motion capture. Yeah, that was super cool, of course. But I really, really liked the other angle of Order 66 and honestly hit like really hard because it was these clones that we've gotten to know. It was Ahsoka, even Maul and all these other people. Like I loved it. It was great. it was some of the best Star Wars I've like seen, honestly.
Yeah, I agree.
Clone Wars. I'm caught up, but you don't have to yell at me anymore.
It's about damn time.
I have not watched Rebels though. And I know that's something that I should probably get on. I watched like the first 30 seconds of the first episode the other day, and I'm like, Vader's immediately in it. All right, I'm in. Yeah. But yeah.
It's good. It's very good.
So how you doing, Thomas? What have you been up to?
I have been working. I'm good. I'm good. I've been working on lots of different things and trying not to lose my mind. You know, we're close. We're very close. But aren't we always like one bad day away from becoming absolutely insane? Yes.
Happy Saturday.
Happy Saturday. Yeah, I'm actually, after this, I'm going to pick up my nephews and we're going to hang out this weekend and play video games. And I'm probably going to lose in Madden, honestly. Like, they're getting good. So I don't know, man. I don't know if I can keep up with their fast thumbs.
Yeah.
And we're going swimming tomorrow, which they don't know about yet, but by the time this comes out, they'll already know. So spoiler alert. Dude, we have a show. David, tell everyone what we've got coming up today.
Yeah, we got a pretty packed show today. We've got plenty of news, including Amazon possibly buying AMC, a New Mutants release date, some potential filming happening, some Star Wars rumors that is news because there's so many rumors about Star Wars casting right now. And then also, as you guys know, if you follow the show, MCU rumors with this part 4 now, where we're going kind of back to more main MCU. Last week we took kind of a detour into the Sonyverse. Now we're back hitting Love and Thunder, Captain Marvel 2, Doctor Strange. Oh, it's going to be a packed back end of the show with the MCU conversations.
It's a busy day. Tony Pilgrim, what's up, brother? It's good to see you hanging out here in the chat. If you enjoy making fun of me, which I know you do, just drop some jokes in the chat. We're going to go ahead. We're just going to hop right in because we really do have a packed show, and I have lots of fan stories. So we're going to move on to everyone's favorite segment of the day. What the news?
So this week in What the News, some pretty big stories. The first one is that filming is starting to, in certain countries, I'm going to run down a bit of a list and then films attached to each kind of country, that filming is possibly opening in certain countries for, major movies, TV shows that we care about really soon. Like now they're getting where the virus is at a point where it's like, I guess kind of under control enough where they're able to open these things back up and get back to filming. So the first one is Falcon Winter Soldier, which was filming in Prague, the Czech Republic, is now, they're saying that they are now lifting restrictions and filming can resume. Now, they have not started filming yet, but this is leading to now that Falcon Winter Soldier is a big question mark as to whether it will be still keeping that fall 2020 release date, right? So this is kind of a pretty big news because they were almost done filming from everything I heard. Yeah. So if they can, this is like really positive news if you're excited for Falcon Winter Soldier like I am, where they still might get this done on time because they've still had time to, be editing the episodes. It isn't a movie, it is episodes of TV. So they've probably been able to finish some of the episodes out, but now they might be able to resume filming. Another place and another film is New Zealand is now lifting restrictions, and they might be able to start, letting studios and movies resume filming or begin filming. And the biggest movie project that is going to start filming is Avatar. So Avatar was going to be filming in like the Avatar sequels, which I don't even want to get going on the Avatar sequels, that there's like 17 of them and they can't just do one and make a good movie. And I'm not even a big fan of the first one. Like, I think it's pretty overrated in my opinion. What
spicy web right there.
Is that a spicy web?
That's a spicy web, but you can't see it. It's
Zoe Saldana's awesome.
But I also feel the same way. I feel the same way, honestly.
Yeah,
I loved it in theaters. It's great in 3D. Right. But as like in terms of story, it's Pocahontas, but with blue people and Zoe Saldana, which, that's why I went to the movie. Love me some Zoe Saldana.
Yeah, and then also in New Zealand, they're talking about Amazon's The Lord of the Rings series. I don't know if you have heard of that series that's coming out. Yeah, it's like
I've not. Yeah, are you ready for a really spicy web?
You don't care about
Lord of the Rings? I don't like the Lord of the Rings. Everyone gets so mad, but I saw it as a kid and I just got bored in the middle of Two Towers. And
someone out there, yeah,
they couldn't rope me back in.
Someone out there, I'm sure, does to a certain degree because it's such a big project. But yeah, yes. So in New Zealand, they're starting to lift, and actually some other TV shows like lower level have started to film, so they're really on the ground rolling. So look out for Avatar and getting Avatar, whatever, 2, 3, 5, and 18.
Avatar 4302.
Now, my favorite of these, well, I guess Falcon Winter Soldier, but is the UK is starting to resume filming or opening it back up, lessening restrictions, and DC's The Batman is going to potentially resume filming. Thank goodness it got pushed back.
About damn time.
It got pushed back. They pushed it back a little bit, but now this is really positive news because they had already started filming. I'm hoping, I'm sure Movie Magic will figure it out, but I'm hoping these weird kind of breaks in filming aren't noticeable in the film. I can't imagine they will be. Yeah. You know what I mean? But I'm hoping it's not. And the shorter the break is, I'm sure the better it is, especially just to keep it going. Like, there's so much. This whole thing, what's crazy to me is that, especially really big, popular actors, they have such crazy schedules. Like, if you look at like Tom Holland or someone who's just like in a fun, or The Rock, like they're in so many different movies and projects where they have to completely have like a pinpointed layout and calendar of when they can film this and that. And this is like delaying everything. So I guess because everything's being delayed, it's helping. But good news, UK is opening back up and the Batman can resume filming. They haven't yet, but they can soon.
Yeah. I think I'm not going to lie, because of this break, my expectations for all of these movies have gone up because, in the filmmaking industry, you are always racing against a clock. You got to fit as much as you can, as fast as you can. But at the same time, it's like you got to balance everything properly. And with 2 months where everything stops, you get to reanalyze the scripts. You get to put more in, take more time, figure out what works, what doesn't, where the plot holes are. And to me, it should make for better films overall.
Mm-hmm. I hope so. I really do. And what's actually something cool that's not kind of an aside is that James Gunn said how the Suicide Squad, they're being able to, pretty much edit everything from home right now.
Exactly.
And that I think is a bit of a concern for me, like where it might not be like the quality I think could potentially dip. I mean, who knows? Just because, an editing room, it feels different from like being remotely in like a Zoom call editing. You know what I mean? But these guys are very, they're professionals. They're creative. They have all the technology. So I hope it's okay.
Yeah, I think it'll be all right. I mean, technology's pretty good, and they're dealing with mega bucks from the studios. And really, it's just like, oh, I like this cut. And then if you see, like, it all comes down to your, I call it the ticker tape, but it's the count, anyways, frame count. There it is, your frame. So it's like, oh, okay, we'll cut it, 12 minutes, frame 32. Depending on I'm throwing random numbers out here.
Yeah.
But so it's like, okay, I like it here. So then you tell the person to cut it right there, and then it's easy once you do certain things. Is that the end of our filming resuming?
That is the end of the film resuming. That's pretty much it.
We have a question.
Yeah.
Do you know anything about the new Stranger Things?
I have not heard anything new on Stranger Things. The last thing I had heard, Tony, was that it was delayed. So that in all the articles I went through, there was no news from what I saw on them resuming. But I don't know where they were filming, actually, off the top of my head. But I imagine with whatever country. I'd be curious, kind of going off of that, is I wonder if some projects may audible and try to film in different locations because they're opening up sooner. What do you think about that? Because I don't know logistically how that would work. Because I feel like they have to kind of book these things down, and there's there's a lot that goes into filming a mass project. But who knows if they really, I mean, especially studios who have a lot of money and want to get films out sooner rather than later, like in 2021, not 2023. I could see them trying to maybe get in on like a New Zealand or a UK spot.
Possibly.
Yeah.
But then your issue is then you have to find all new crew. And you have to worry about all of that fun financial side of it, which is really where it'll come down to. Yeah. If they're already out in another country, they might just, oh, okay, well, you're not opening for 6 more months. Well, we can save money by going over there. It's all going to come down to how big their pocketbook is.
It's certainly a logistical nightmare.
It's a logistical nightmare for sure. Hey, Brian, I've also heard that, but I don't remember where I heard that. I won't even lie. It might have been from Trisha Helfer, who plays Lucifer's mom, if I remember right. I think that's accurate. I think that was their target release date was June-ish, mid-June from what I remember, but that was filmed in November, give or take, maybe December, because I listened to the Battlestar Galactica where Trisha Helfer, and she's on that show, and she had another spot on there for this upcoming season, if I remember hearing stuff properly. Hearing's hard. So I think that, I think you're right with that. Hi, Lisa. Happy Saturday to you as well. We're going to move on to our shortest news segment of the day.
New Mutants. All right, guys, we got another release date. It's the 5th and hopefully final release date for New Mutants. It's the 5th. I counted all of them. The initial one, I mean, this movie was filmed in 2017 for people that don't know. And it was initially going to come out in 2018, and then there's been a whole laundry list of things that have happened. But now the new release date for New Mutants is August 28th of this year. I think a pretty good spot. I'm surprised because what's interesting about this is Disney obviously now owns, like, they have the control of when these movies come out because they own they own Fox now, 20th Century Fox. That's now like Fox Studios or something. Anyway, so they came out with all those Disney release dates, if you recall, like all the new MCU release dates, the Black Widow pushback. That was all big news we covered in the past. And they did not, I remember making a note of it, they did not touch on the New Mutants, and it was like, oh no, what are they going to do? Speculation of maybe going straight to Hulu or anything like that. And now we officially have an August 28th release date, which we've talked about this. Like, I like to brag on it because it's such a funny story, but it doesn't take away that I want to see the movie. You know what I mean? Like, I think the movie will still be good. So what do you think of New Mutants' 5th release date that's set now?
I'm excited.
Good. Next topic.
Yeah, I mean, I've got really nothing on it. It's about damn time.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tony. I know I'm very pale. Thanks for reminding me. It's very, very rude. Shout out to Brian. He said not all of Lucifer was filmed, it sounds like. So that is interessante. He also had some nuggets for you. Won't end up on Hulu because of the deal with HBO, which okay. I do remember they did have an already deal with HBO for like X amount of time after.
Interesting. The only reason I said Hulu, Brian, was because, you know, Disney owns Hulu now. And I was thinking because New Mutants is under Disney and so is Hulu, that would be like an area and it wouldn't go on Disney Plus because it's going to be probably not Disney Plus material. But who knows? But yeah, interesting. I didn't know it had a deal with Hulu. Good to know.
You mean HBO?
Yeah, I mean HBO.
Close enough.
HBO Max.
Up next is this is my segment. Crap.
Yeah, bro. You're Mr. Star Wars guy.
Star Wars Disney Plus casting rumors. It is so exciting. We're going to start off with the simple short version, Cassian Andor series, the Rogue One prequel. They have dropped some good. They're all rumors. Some of them have more weight than others, as they've been reported by trades. Genevieve O'Reilly will be returning as Mon Mothma. If you remember, she started out in a deleted scene of episode 3. Then they brought her in for Rogue One, and she also voiced Mon Mothma in Rebels, I think. I could be wrong about that. And she's going to be coming back, allegedly. Alistair, I'm calling him Alistair. Alistair Petrie, who played General Draven, which, if you remember, Rogue One was the guy who was like, you need to do the dirty work there, Cassian Andor. He doesn't speak like that, but that's how he sounded in my head. He was the dark side. Like, he's kind of borderline doing dark stuff. He's the spy leader, the ring leader, and he tells Cassian to kill Jalen Erso. That's who he is. He's rumored to return, and this is my favorite part. Jimmy Smits from freaking NYPD Blue is returning as Bail Organa, again, allegedly. I'm very excited for all of these, and it makes sense because they were in the movie, and it's an amazing time in Star Wars that has really been left completely untouched outside of the 4 seasons of Rebels, which, spoiler alert for you there, David, says set 5 years before the start of A New Hope.
Okay.
And so there's like a year gap between Rebels and Rogue One, if I remember correctly, and how it lines up. Which blank of blank kind of leads into Rogue One, which I'm not going to say for you because it's a major spoiler, David. I don't want to do that to you.
I appreciate that.
You're welcome. Now we're going to get to the bulk of the rumors. As we touched on last week, it came out right before we actually recorded our show on Friday, our special day, our special time on Friday, that Timura. Say his name for me.
Temuera
Morrison. I put way too much accent into it.
Yeah.
Is rumored to be now. We said it's official last week, so that's my bad. I never learned how to read. Thank you, Wayne's World, for that excuse. He is aggressively rumored to be appearing as Boba Fett, and it's being said that it's for 1 episode, and then in season 3 he's going to be in a larger role. I also have from the direct and from is it Slash Film? No, Newswire, Fandom Wire, both said that Boba Fett is rumored to have a live action Disney Plus series also.
I saw that.
So that's intriguing. That's not the point of, that's just catching you all up. Here's what I'm excited about. It's rumored that Temuera Morrison will also be playing Captain Rex from the Clone Wars. in live action,
which you nailed last week. You said that in episode 6 last week, and it was so funny. It was like literally the day after, texting each other like, "Oh my gosh, they watched the podcast, like they saw what you said," because they immediately, word for word, what you said, that Rex could show up. Yeah. After watching the last season of Clone Wars, like after like this in this past week, I'm like, that'd be so cool.
Dude, just wait till you get to Rebels.
He's in Rebels?
Spoiler alert, he's totally in Rebels.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's clear that you've not watched and paid full attention to the Thor Watches series because I aggressively spoiled that for you months ago.
That's right.
Yeah, it's which brings me to just a small tangent. Baby Yoda could be a clone. I'm just saying, if he's 50 years old, he could be a clone who was aged at normal pace, because if Boba Fett's going to be, an adult now, obviously that shows clones age. Captain Rex in Rebels has aged a little bit, which you'll see. So, it's totally possible. I still am on the Baby Yoda could be a clone. Could be. Not saying he is. He could be. I don't really.
I hope in season 2 they get more into, because I think they kind of teased at the end of season 1 how like kind of figuring out what Baby Yoda is and like where he really comes from. I think they should. I really hope they dive into that. I would say just quickly about all the Star Wars casting is I'm kind of concerned with all of the Mandalorian like talk right now, is how there's so much rumors about kind of like it's so in the future. Like there's always like, oh, there's gonna be the rumor of this character and that character and their spinoff, and season 3 there's gonna be this, and it's like we haven't even seen like a teaser for season 2 and we're already talking about potential season 3. And so for me, I'm kind of over the like rumors of like so far in the future, and I'm really hoping like I get they're trying to build this whole universe and it's going to be this long running, series. And I really hope it is. Like, I hope it goes like 10 seasons. That'd be awesome. But I kind of hope they just, focus on this season, because I really just want season 2 to be great. Like I'm really excited for what's next.
Well, I mean, they've already been greenlit for season 3. And all of these rumors are just saying that these people are going to appear for a single episode for the most part. Like Boba Fett is only going to be in one episode. Ahsoka, who's been rumored to be played by Rosario Dawson, which, oh my God, I love it.
Yeah.
Is only going to be in one episode, which brings me to my next rumor. Now, this one has not been quote unquote, it's confirmed, or they're not saying it's been cast. All of the articles I found, excuse me, have been saying that, it's being rumored or hinted at. My favorite Mandalorian, Sabine Wren from Star Wars Rebels, is rumored to be in an episode of this season of Mandalorian, along with the captain of the Ghost from Rebels, Harrison Dula, which means that if they do that, then Captain Rex is also going to only be there for a single episode, which, again, I have a feeling that they'll all be there in the same episode. I'm going to take a small tangent because there's a rumor, and it took me a while to find this rumor yesterday, that Sasha Banks has been cast as an undisclosed role in The Mandalorian season 2.
Yeah.
I'm on the she's playing Sabine Wren train. Like that's a good, I mean,
it works.
There's this one, like I'm a big fan of that, but this is the one, like this is the way right here. It fits so well. Which is great for me because I absolutely love Sasha Banks. And the fact that she's going to play my favorite Mandalorian is even better. So that's exciting. We'll see what happens with that. Fingers crossed. But the big news for this week really was that Katie Sackhoff has been cast to play Bo-Katan Kryze from Star Wars The Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels. Spoiler alert, David.
Don't worry about this.
I'm gonna have to aggressively spoil you on this one.
It's okay.
Now, before I get to this, I'm excited for this because it'll be the first time an actor has portrayed a character that was created for animation, and that same actor makes the jump to live action.
Mm-hmm.
And of all of the actors that they've had, she's the one that makes the most sense because it's freaking Starbuck, dude, from Battlestar Galactica. She's in Flash. Her name carries a certain weight with it.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's a very exciting thing to see. And where was I going with this? Right. What is the word? Fan-thory moment. Bam, bam, bam. I think that her appearance is going to be in a flashback showing us how Moff Gideon got the Darksaber, because if you've seen Rebels, you already know. If you haven't, David, spoiler alert, she's the last person seen carrying the Darksaber. Yeah. So ever since they introduced the Darksaber, all I've been thinking about is, are we going to get the Rebels crew, and are we going to see Bo-Katan come into live action? And last season, I'm sorry, I'm like over plugging this, but I've had these ideas for months, and it's documented in the ether that is Thor Watches the Mandalorian.
Yeah.
The most recent episode came out in like February or March or whatever it came out, because I just got behind after Christmas. But it was filmed in December because, fun times. All of this is leading to, I think, everyone's like getting worried that it's going to tie in too much to what we already know. But I actually think it's a good thing. And the reason I truly think it's a good thing is that it's only going to be an episode. There was only one episode where they gave us stuff we knew in Mandalorian season 1. Mm-hmm. That was in episode 5 in Tatooine.
Right. Yeah.
That was nothing more than just, hey, here's all this stuff you know already. Yeah. And it was like, whoa.
I like that though, man. I like the fan service, and I like, especially when it's kind of in a timeline we haven't really explored before, especially on screen. I like seeing places that we know. I mean, what's a perfect example of this was in Rogue One, the flashback scene when they were in Coruscant, and it's just like super brief. It's what's her name? Oh my gosh, I can't remember the character's name. The main
Jyn Erso.
Yeah, Jyn Erso, her dad, like the bad guy, and they were all like in a room, and it was Coruscant outside. Like that's where they were, because it was in the times of the prequels. And it was like a grounded, kind of more subdued look at Coruscant, like kind of more ground level, not the prequels, lights, camera, like, the kind of where it's from, you seeing it more from like a bird's eye view. It was more like worm's eye view, and you were just kind of in a room, but you could see outside all the speeders and like things like flying by. Yeah. And I remember thinking there in theaters, like, oh my gosh, I'd love to see like a movie with Coruscant looking more like that. And then watching Clone Wars, it was cool.
I literally didn't realize that was Coruscant until
go back and watch it. It's so cool. If you think about the context that it's Coruscant, it's such a cool little like tie-in, and it, because the whole movie, it looks so much different than the prequels. It's so cool to me. So that's why I kind of like, getting those moments of seeing stuff we already know in different timelines or by different like directors and cinematographers, because you get a different kind of angle on it.
I concur. I'm really excited. I think, I've been saying since season 1 that Ahsoka is the person that is going to end up helping Baby Yoda. That's what everyone else knows him as. Baby Yeet, train Baby Yeet, or help him find someone who can help him train, I've been on that bandwagon since the very beginning, because why not her?
Yeah.
And
how old would she be? I wonder how old she would be in the Mandalorian timeline. It's hard to really tell.
She would be like, she's like what? Maybe like 10, 11. When do you become a Padawan? About 10 or 11, we'll say. So she's like 10 or 11 at the beginning of Clone Wars, which is right after episode 2. So she's like 10 years younger than Anakin, give or take.
Right. Okay.
Yeah,
that works. Yeah.
So she'd be like 40?
Whoa. Yeah.
No, 40.
I don't know the timelines in my head, right? Yeah. If she's
Yeah,
10 years
no,
younger
about
than
about
Anakin,
40
yeah, that
because
sounds about right.
because Baby Yeet and Anakin are born at like the same time.
Uh,
I did do the math
yeah,
at one
yeah.
point and went back and counted it
So
all
like in her
because
40s, we'll say.
because all I could think was, is Baby Yeet the chosen one? And that's an argument that I'm waiting for more evidence on. I'm willing to make that one. Oh my God, could you imagine like he was born of literally the Force, just like what?
Yeah,
crazy. So we'll move on. Last casting one that I saw yesterday at 5, Timothy Oliphant from a lot of things. I think it was either Deadwood or Underwood, one of those. I think it was Deadwood. I know him from I can't remember the name of the movie now. The Girl Next Door. That's what I know him from. I saw that movie way too young. But he's been cast in an undisclosed role. They're saying rumors. The rumor town is flying high. So that's fun. He can play literally Justified. Thank you, Brian. Yes, that's what it was. Justified. He could play literally anybody in Star Wars. We also have rumors that the crew from episode 6, The Heist, they're going to be coming back. There's rumors that Ming-Na Wen, who played Fennec Shand, is coming back, which I have always been saying is going to lead to Boba Fett's showing, and I've thought for a while, and she was in one episode. It said she has a bigger role in this season. It said that Moff Gideon has a bigger role in this season. So if Boba Fett shows up and then he has a bigger role next season, like the season after in 3, that would make a lot of sense. They're story building, but they're doing it slow. They're doing, because it's Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, they know where they're going already. Like, that they know where they're going.
Yeah.
So they're just planting seeds little by little, just like Marvel, just like George made them do.
Did a new episode of Gallery come out yesterday?
It did.
Oh, I haven't seen it.
It's on the cast. It's good stuff.
Okay, I gotta watch it. It's so good.
Man. It's probably my favorite episode so far because I enjoy the behind the scenes of the actor and the depth of the psychology and all. So we're dragging on. We're gonna wrap this up with our final rumor of the Star Wars universe, and that is Ahsoka, Sabine, and Hera and Captain Rex all appearing in an episode of this season of Mandalorian season 2 is going to lead to an Ahsoka live action series set after Rebels, aggressively being rumored right now. And
during the time of the original trilogy?
No, after Rebels. So
I don't know the timeline.
I know, man. Okay, spoiler alert. In the finale, at the very end, the last 3 minutes skips to after the fall, the Battle of the Moon of Endor.
Oh.
So we know that these characters survive after Rebels. So it's possible they can be shown. I'm just going to tell you who. Sabine and Ahsoka and Hera all definitively live through the rebellion and empire revolution. So they can be shown in live action as still being alive, or be in flashbacks. We don't know if Bo-Katan ever survived through the fall of the empire, and considering Moff Gideon holds the Darksaber, things aren't looking very up for her. So that's exciting. Star Wars, man. It's important because I was 7 when I first watched all the Star Wars movies. My dad was like, there's a new one coming out, you have to watch these. And I was like, all right. And then I was like, whoa, play it all back, let's keep watching it. And so I've been deep in the Star Wars since it's my first tattoo. My first nerd tattoo is my Sith emblem right here on my rib. So it's, and
they keep coming out with the rumors, man. It's still been a flood lately.
It has. And the thing that makes me the most excited is it's all these people are being rumored to show up. And I'm like, yeah, for an episode.
Right,
Cool.
right.
Like that makes me so excited because what they did last season, they're going to continue, which is, I think it's going to be like it's going to be a planet hopping experience, planet of the week, show of the week.
Yeah.
But there's going to be a common thread now going through, like last season, which he was being chased. Now he's being chased by Moff Gideon, and there's, now he's going to fight imps more. So I love watching stormtroopers die. We're going to send this part of it all the way back to David, and I'm just going to throw this up here while we get our going ready. David, do you know what the saying is from?
No.
It's from Battlestar Galactica. What kind of nerd are you? So say we all. Up next, the news of the week.
Yeah, honestly, this is like probably the best news. Oh, before we get to this though, answering this question, do you guys follow Brian? Do you guys follow John Campea and or Robert Meyer Burnett? I do. I've been following John Campea forever, since the AMC days, when I don't know if you follow him at all, but he used to have this AMC movie talk show, which was like awesome and honestly like kind of an inspiration for this show. And he's just like a big like movie pundit YouTuber that has a daily show. And yeah, John Campea is awesome. I kind of fade back and forth of like watching him because sometimes like he has really like long shows and
like us.
But his are every single day.
Oh my.
Yeah, but he's awesome. Like he's like pretty much a one-man show now, and he's done great for himself. But yeah, big fan of John Campea. Super cool guy, and I'm his movie opinions, I think, always kind of keep things like interesting because they're always normally different. But yeah, anyway, good question. I do follow them. Anyway,
yeah.
Do you follow them at all? Do you know?
I see John Campea pops up on my Twitter feed here and there because of the brand DeLorean.
Yeah.
Brandon Davis. Sorry, he'll always be the brand DeLorean for me. It's too good. Yeah. It's too good of branding. I'm done with puns now. My pundit days are over. Okay, I'm done for real.
So the Amazon is now rumored. So this is actually really interesting. I'm beginning this from a Business Insider article, which I think is like more of the fascinating part of this, is that AMC Entertainment spiked as much as 76% on Monday because the Daily Mail reported that Amazon was eyeing a takeover of the company. So if you guys have been following the show or following the news lately, you would know that AMC has been in financial trouble. They haven't had a lot of money kind of like saved up, and they're, questions of if they're going to like file for bankruptcy. And it's like a really big deal that like they are the biggest American movie chain and they might be going out of business. Now, Daily Mail reported that the duo, this is directly from Daily Mail, the duo are thought to have held talks about a potential takeover of AMC by Amazon. However, it is not clear if the discussions are still active or if they will lead to a deal. So it's a big rumor, but the rumor basically is that there are talks that Amazon, one of the biggest, companies in the entire world, is going to buy AMC. And for me, as an AMC A-list, subscriber, as you see in our banner here, what could that mean for being an A-lister, like for the company itself? Like, would they rebrand or would they just kind of own it? What do you think of all this, Thomas?
I have no idea. I read it this week. I think I read it on like Bloomberg or something like that, right, where it popped up on me, and I was like, "Whoa, that's kind of a, it's not a comic book website where it's like, oh, it might happen." That was like, "Whoa, that's a fairly impressive news."
Yeah,
to read it in. As also being an AMC A-lister, I wonder if, and we almost had an argument last night over what to name this segment because I was thinking of Prime A-list.
Yeah.
Because
like Amazon A-list just kind of it's a little alliteration.
It flows better, but I was thinking like, what would they actually call it? They'd probably call it Prime A-list.
Yeah, but
Prime theaters.
Ooh. Prime theaters and like the
hire me, Bezos. Hire me.
Yeah, but what I was gonna say is that it'd be really cool. Like, so like logistically, if they were to buy it, would AMC just kind of be owned by them, but them still do their own thing, or would Amazon kind of have a bit of like a branding takeover? If they were to, imagine if it was like, oh, you have Amazon Prime, you basically have A-list now, and then so many people around the world have Prime that they would be going to AMC's like way more than the other movie companies if there's one nearby. So there's a lot of potential. I think it could be, I guess there maybe for Amazon, they're kind of buying low with AMC to a certain degree if they were to, because, they are in such, financial trouble. But it wouldn't be a terrible idea, like, even though there's been a lot of kind of backlash, but like blowback over the last however many years of, streaming and people not going to the theater as much, even though look at the box office and tell me people aren't going to the theater. I mean, look at Endgame's numbers and you're going to tell me people aren't going to the theater as much. Yeah.
But Amazon has been helping theaters too. They did, for Aquaman, I went to a 1 or 2 weeks early showing because I had Amazon Prime.
Right.
And, it was like, a pre-screening with Amazon Prime. And so I was like, bet, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to wait for our lives to get older.
For sure. And then even like think about Amazon this way, they do all these different things. Obviously they're known for just being a, shipping company that you buy all these, e-commerce and all this, but they are in the entertainment business. They have the Amazon, Prime Video, like they have their own movies, shows, TV. Like, I think because they're kind of maybe feeling they're maybe lacking in that area of their like departments, like their entertainment, like, compared to like a Netflix and HBO, the big hitters. I think like a deal with AMC could really get them cool exclusivity, some cool rights, like do some pretty clever. I mean, in the day and age we live in now with, we saw like AMC and Regal. We had that news before how like they didn't want like Universal to be putting these things on Prime or not putting them out for VOD. What if, AMC and Amazon, they could be some pretty cool, like you could rent it on Amazon and then it's in theaters as well. Like, you know what I mean?
Amazon original movies.
Yeah.
Exclusively at those films.
At the theaters.
At the theaters. And Amazon could then get into the business of producing movies because they don't produce those movies. They're sold to Amazon usually right. Self-produced, and then they're sold to Amazon and Amazon helps distribute, and then
so like an Amazon original in theaters.
Yeah. Like The Big Sick, I'm pretty sure came out in theaters, but Amazon had to pay the theaters because I could be wrong. I think it was the other way around. The theaters had to pay them, but they did it a limited release so that it could get Oscar buzz. Well, now they just throw it in their own theater. They don't have to worry about rental or any of that. It's like, we own this theater. We can play it here. And then boom, we can pull it back out whenever we want. And then, by the way, we're going to stream it here because we know we're going to get more money here or we'll get more money there. And then they're capitalizing on both the film rights and the concessions, which, then at that point, they basically have a monopoly on the entire theater chain.
I mean, and if they want to actually buy AMC, like they're going to want to put people in the seats in the theater. And that would be a really cool, give it a little exclusivity. Exclusive. I can't pronounce words.
Exclusivity.
Make people feel like they're exclusive for being an Amazon A-lister, basically. And I think this is, so we're going to keep an eye on this, story, of course. I think this would be pretty smart by Amazon. I mean, it's hard to tell. Like, I'm not, I don't really know exactly like the numbers they're talking potentially, but hey, this is a big story, a potential, really big story for the entertainment business, especially for our lives as AMC A-listers, as moviegoers. And I mean, Prime members, like everyone uses Amazon, and at least me and you go to the theater, AMC specifically, all the time. So that's kind of two worlds colliding, and I'm really curious to see how this all, winds up.
I miss theaters, man. I miss movies.
Tenet, July 17th. Can't wait. Looking forward to you, bud.
Yeah. 2 months in a day.
Really? Yeah, let's go. Okay, cool.
Let's go, man.
All right, let's move into the big topic.
Let's move into the big topic of the day, MCU rumors number 4. We're going to start off, this might be the longest one we do. It might not be. It might be the next one.
There's honestly been a lot laid out for us in this one comparatively.
In this one, yes. I'm hoping that we can wrap this up in the next 45 minutes with all 4 films.
We got this.
Good luck to everybody involved. Thor, Love and Thunder is set to be released February 12th?
Yeah. 11th. I forget, but it's like
I think it's the 12th. I think it's my dad's birthday, if I remember right. February 12th,
we'll be there the
2022. Yeah, I'll be there the 11th. I'll be there any day. I'll be there when Amazon gives us the opportunity to go there like 3 to 5 to 1 week early.
Yeah. True.
You like how I bounced around there? Where's my notes? There's my notes. So good Lord. All right. So we already know that Jane Foster is going to become Lady Thor in this. I'm sorry. No, it is not her name, but I like how fancy it sounds.
Mighty Thor.
She will become the Mighty Thor.
Yeah.
Which,
have you read the run, the Mighty Thor?
I have not.
Yeah, so I actually right when this was announced, I didn't read all of it, but I read probably the first 10 issues of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what happened exactly. Maybe it just switched to like Vader or something. But anyway, I love the Vader comics. Anyway, it was. So I'm curious. I'm sure you may take a note of this, but how deep they're going to get into that storyline of Mighty Thor? How like Jane Foster? It's because so she's like in the story, it's that she has cancer and that she wields Mjolnir, and when she does, she no longer has cancer. She is Mighty Thor, right? So, and then when she is not wielding Mjolnir, she's back. And I think the problem was
you didn't finish it because it definitely was killing her.
Yeah, right. No, the problem is that like when she's holding it, she doesn't like have cancer at the moment, but she still has it. But then when she's not holding it anymore, then like all of her progress is gone. Like so she doesn't really progress. So it's kind of like this. It's this really cool kind of decision, and this kind of like, oh man, I love being Thor, but in my real life, on Earth, it's not like doing me any good. And it's a really cool kind of dichotomy. And the comics are pretty cool. Like Loki's really good in it, as Loki is. But yeah, I'm curious to see, because this movie, I mean, it's not called Mighty Thor, but they teased it. I'm curious to see how far they dive into that storyline, if they even go that direction.
Well, Taika's already said that he's not sure if that will even be involved in any way.
Right.
Because they've asked about it. Now, that could just be him swindling everybody, but it doesn't sound like that's not a very jokey thing to say. So it sounds to me like they may not even touch upon the cancer side of it, just because that is okay.
It's
that's
dark.
A bit much.
Yeah.
Not only is it dark, but that's a lot of exposition.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, what is the story? But it is called Love.
What is the story?
So but it is called Love and Thunder. So like theoretically, she could be dying of cancer. Obviously, Thor still loves her. It's not like he never stopped. I mean, Jane and I were dating. No, we're not. That scene in Endgame, he's clearly still broken up about it.
I mean, I will say to what you were just saying, I think, I don't want this movie to be all light and fluff. And I think it could be a good kind of like grounding point for it, where it's going to be this outlandish, crazy space adventure, but like it kind of comes home and comes back to Earth literally with her having cancer. And like it gives, an emotional impact to certain things. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be something else. I'm gonna get, because we're gonna get lost in the tangent.
Anyway, there's so many
tangents. So another thing that Taika said is that he's hoping that Jane Foster will wear her winged helmet, which is going to be super fracking exciting to me. I originally thought, because Doctor Strange was coming out before, that Jane could be from another universe. I don't think that can be a thing right now. Although, when we get to Doctor Strange in the Madness of the Multiverse, I will have proven what I just said to be vastly incorrect. So we'll get there.
Really, we just don't know.
We don't know. This is speculation.
We don't know the timelines.
We should honestly just call this entire segment the Fan Theory segment of the year, because
literally
we are throwing stuff at the wall, and it's probably never going to stick. So a casting rumor came up that they're casting a 10 or 11-year-old young African-American male named Zappa. And there's speculation that this is actually Kid Loki. The reasons being, Loki can change his form, etc. Could be used to be tricking him. He could have actually been reborn as a African-American young male. And there's precedent for something like this in the comics after Ragnarok. So that was early 2000s, maybe late 90s when Ragnarok in the comics happened. I could be wrong about that.
Yeah.
But in 2007, when Thor came back, he created he brought all of them back. Like he was like, I'm gonna reincarnate, and so all of the gods reincarnated. He had to go on a fun little journey to find their bodies and restore their memories so that they could have their godly powers. Loki, that is where Lady Loki comes from, because he took over Sif's body and left Sif in an old person with cancer's body or something like that. They were literally just dying. And classic Loki, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say, geez.
So yeah, he's done that before. I have the question: is this Heimdall reborn? Like, wouldn't that be fun to give a child the all-seeing eye of Heimdall? Like, what?
Man, I love Heimdall, and I feel like he's been kind of like given a lot of the short end of the stick in the Thor movies. And I mean, it's Idris Alba. Like, dude, I wish he was in more. It's not like a huge knock, but I just wish he was in more.
It's a huge knock. It's a huge knock to me. Like, I love Idris Elba and everything he does. So I am always, I always
the first two movies with the sword. I mean,
like his best scene is,
I think it's
potentially. I think his best scene, but it's because I enjoy jumping on stuff, is in Thor: The Dark World when he jumps and he's like looking around and the ships are coming by and they're cloaked and he jumps up and he breaks the cloaking device. You know, that was dope.
That was really cool.
That still might be his best scene in terms of like action and
it's one of the best scenes in that movie.
Badassery. Easily. Oh, it's easily one of the best scenes in that movie, dude. Like, it's not even close. Yeah. It's like easily top 5. And my favorite scene is after Frigga dies and Thor stands there and gives a classic comics Thor pose with Mjolnir just sitting on his leg. Like, that is my favorite scene. Yeah. It's a literal tiny shot. I could go on. I could go on. So maybe we have Kid Loki, maybe we have Kid Heimdall. Exciting. So we're going to start diving into the live stream that Taika had recently.
Oh boy.
And I'm gonna try and just cover the brief stuff because they've already talked about Valkyrie. They're gonna dive more into her bisexuality, and she's now king. She's looking for her queen.
Yeah.
So that's exciting.
Ruler of Asgard.
Yeah,
that I'm excited for. Is her being the ruler of Asgard. And what does that mean for Thor? Is he just kind of like floating around doing this thing? Like.
Obviously that's what he's always wanted to do, bro.
Yeah.
So I totally think. and not only that, like, think about it, they went on opposite trajectories after Ragnarok. Like, she was the drunk, he was like, I don't want to be king, but somebody's got to do it. It can't be you, sister. You're just the worst. So like they went from drunk, I'm trying to save Asgard and be king and lead them, to drunk and I'm leading Asgard because our king's freaking drunk. So, like they went on opposite trajectories. So dude, it's very exciting to see how they're going to be because they both understand each other's shoes and how they're like what they're dealing with. So that's a very exciting dynamic between those characters that I'm really excited. Like, that is probably, in terms of character dynamic, what I'm excited for the most, because that's very important to the future of Asgardians and the MCU and things of that nature. Jumping into what Tychus talked about, someone asked if Loki will make an appearance, and this is an exact quote. Oh yeah, can't say. Everyone's like, oh, that means, oh, it sounds like a yes to me. Oh, it's this. Like, I've watched the live stream. I watched it. He's like, oh yeah, can't say. Sorry. Like, that's exactly what he said in that exact tone. He's like, you guys know better, is essentially how he said it. Possibly my favorite thing to come out of it. Korg's origin and procreation for his species will be explained.
Fantastic.
And explored. I'm assuming that we're going to get a a Drax style rundown of the procreation of his life. What do you mean? What do you mean? Like, my mother told me the story of my creation like all the time. That's weird, bro. That's how I'm assuming it breaks down.
Yeah. Note that we saw that same species in the Dark World, Korg species.
Yes, and we saw it in Guardians Volume 2.
Oh, I know that. Yeah.
Yep. It's one of those.
Gotta get educated in Love and Thunder about it.
It is one of the like 53 jumps that they do. One of them has a Cronin by himself. So it could be that could actually have been Korg. We don't know.
Yeah. Little tease.
I need to skip that one. Oh, so when asked about will Fat Thor be in there, Taika said, "Yeah, I don't know." Hold on. Hey man, hey, yeah, I don't know. I feel like that's already kind of been done, so I can't really say much for that. But Chris Hemsworth has also said he's getting in great shape for the next Thor movie already. Right, so you know, I'm assuming that it won't. I mean, we don't know how like. From the time that Endgame comes out to the time that that movie comes out is 3 years. Mm-hmm. So that's, you know, in 3 years, you can lose a lot of weight. Yeah. So that is my thought that, you know, if it's set in 2026, he's probably going to have a lot of weight loss already done. Especially now that he's like repurposed his life to saving people instead of being a sad, depressed punk, which we've all been there, you know?
I don't think we'll see Bro Thor for all that long. Probably a little bit. I'd love to see like some funny montage that it gets him back in shape like instantly or something.
I don't even want a montage. I just want it to be like, yeah, he was fat and depressed, and now he's not as depressed and not.
I want to see Thor back in like, in like Infinity War shape again, right? Yeah, Infinity War shape.
Yeah, For me, when it comes to Thor, I will always call Endgame Thor War Thor because he looks exactly like Volstagg when he picks up the ultimate Thor's hammer, which is exactly looking like Stormbreaker in the movie. So like he looked exactly like the War Thor, and he goes to war with the braids and all of it. So he's War Thor to me. Moving on. Yep. Taika has said he's not sure about Beta Ray Bill. He just said, I don't know.
Not sure.
No, yeah, he said, I don't know if he'll make an appearance. I love Beta Ray Bill, but that was months ago before, you know, things had really started to pay. This was even before the live stream that he mentioned that. Yeah. Now we all know that Christian Bale is going to be the bad guy. Oh my gosh. Which is holy banana balls. I'm hoping it's
the villain. I think it's just rumored, but it's heavily rumored that he's going to be the villain.
No
one's confirmed it, have they?
Tessa accidentally confirmed it.
Oh, fantastic.
She's like, yeah, we've got Christian Bale, and he's playing the villain. Like, that's going to be amazing to see Bale break bad. Like, that was.
Oh,
yeah. So it's like
that's an underrated point of all this. Like, that's going to be so good.
Okay, so from the moment that he was announced, I could think of him being maybe he'd be the voice of Beta Ray Bill, but I always thought that he would be the villain because he was Batman, right? Why would he he was Batman? Look at what all the other Batman actors have done. They usually go on to play villains, and by all of them, obviously, I'm just talking about Michael Keaton right now.
Yeah.
So when Batman joins the MCU, he becomes a freaking villain. I'm hoping he's Gore from Thor, the God of Thunder series that Jason Aaron started writing in 2012. Gore the God Butcher.
Yeah, the God Butcher. That's what I've heard a lot of.
Which creates the Necro Sword, which led to the War of the Realms, which, by the way, holy balls, what a comic event that was. Like, War of the Realms is, all 9 realms go to war. Then they find out there's a 10th realm, or no, all 10 realms go to war. Angels in heaven was brought in. They're actually, spoiler alert, bad guys. Shocking. And they all go to war under Malekith, the Accursed, and he just rapes, pillages, and destroys everything because that's what he was born into. And it leads to the explanation of what being worthy truly means when you wield Mjolnir, and it is the act in the it is the struggle to always prove yourself worthy, even when you doubt yourself the most.
Captain America already knew all this, so don't worry about it.
Disagreed. But maybe. But yeah, so that'll be exciting. And I have this very strong feeling that we're going to get something along those lines, because they've said Mjolnir, she will wield Mjolnir, is like what they've said. She's wielding the hammer.
Correct.
So,
so she held up yeah.
Exciting.
I wonder where she's getting that Mjolnir, because the Mjolnir in our universe is destroyed.
It go bye. Yeah.
Yeah. So
now, hold on. Eitri does exist still. And I'm sure somewhere, someplace, he has the
mold.
Still. The mold. Thank you. Yes. Now the issue would then be to start the forge, but they got technology now. I'm sure
they just make it this like thing where they just go over there and it's like super quick this time and no struggle, because like Infinity War is this huge like climactic moment, and like in Love and Thunder it's like, oh yeah, we went there. Like it's like Korg and Meek. Oh yeah. And then it's just done. They come back with the hammer. Like, oh yeah.
Well, that you segued very well to my next theory, that we already know the Guardians are going to be in this, thanks to Vin Diesel not knowing how to keep a secret. Thank you, Vin. Big fan. And so I'm hoping that, because Rabbit and Tree both know where it's at, and they both know what Thor went through the last time. And I almost called him Rocket. Rocket, aka Sweet Rabbit, knows. He's a genius. He's literally a genius. So he could easily help reinstall the equipment needed to make the forge run consistently.
Yeah.
So with the Guardians there, that leaves a plot thread available to fix everything. Will it happen? I have no idea, but I would love it.
We'll find out.
We'll find out. Now, when it comes to the timeline, it's very important to say that it's coming out before Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
But there's a very strong possibility that Doctor Strange could essentially precede this movie in terms of in the plot line, because they've now, with Captain Marvel, they're no longer telling linear storytelling, which could confuse the masses.
Yeah. Big
time, including me. But
yeah, including me.
We'll see, because what are your final thoughts on Thor: Love and Thunder? Because there's a big theory and a quote from Kevin Feige I have ready to roll.
I'm excited. I'm really excited to talk about what we're going to talk about right now with the timelines and Doctor Strange.
Okay, we're just going to jump. Thor, I love you. Thor, I love you. Taika, I love you. Piss off, Ghost. We're now here to Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. How much research were you able to do on this bad?
Minimal. But I want to say something. This movie is what we're going to talk about right now. It's so fascinating to me that this was supposed to be the 2021 May release date. Now it is a March 2022 release date, and it's completely shifting where it was supposed to be. The timelines, I feel like, get really construed, and it's just so fascinating to me that it's like it was supposed to be. I think people might take it more lightly than it should be, because it was supposed to be like the May release date movie of 2021.
Yes,
and that cannot be said lightly enough, or like the opposite of that, because they always set up their movies. We talked about this. The Corona, everything is like moved everything, all the dates, and now it doesn't feel as like impactful each like time and place. But normally it was set up to be this huge there's been so many rumors of it being this big crossover event. Like, is this where like Tom Holland pops up as his other
that's not even a rumor. That's confirmed from Feige himself. So
like it's going to be, it's been rumored to be one of the, if not the most pivotal MCU movie of Phase 4 when it comes to the future of the, universe. Let's hit it.
Okay. Because you segued very well here. Before this quote started up, before where this quote is, they were talking about introducing Iron Man. and that was the only goal that they had. So now this is a direct quote from Kevin Feige. Then we went on to teach the people what Asgardians were and learn about super soldiers, then bring them into the Avengers. I've always loved space movies, and I've always loved big intergalactic tales, which is why we did Guardians, and the audience came with us so we could do a movie like Endgame. I always wanted to do a time travel. I always wanted to do time travel, which we finally got to do in Endgame. The multiverse is the next step in the evolution of the MCU. And Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness is going to crack it open in ways that will have repercussions for a Disney Plus series before it that's not WandaVision, and for movies after it in a big, fun way.
Oh, man.
Why is this important? It was scheduled to be coming out before Thor.
Correct.
And if it's already going to retroactively have effect on a show, which we know it affects WandaVision, and it sounds like it's retroactively going to affect Loki. Loki comes out first.
Yep.
It sounds like we'll see something in Loki that will be explained more in Madness of the Multiverse, which will then just be wowzers make Bowsers. So why could it not also affect a movie prior to it?
Another note
prior to it.
Right. Another note is that it was supposed to come out before Spider-Man 3.
Yes.
Now it's not. And that was okay. So, I mean, I don't know if you took a note of this, but that was a big rumor going around, especially now that Sam Raimi is officially on board. And because Sam Raimi directed the original Spider-Man trilogy, everyone's creative juices went flowing with, is Spider-Man going to pop up to Maguire? Like, of course, that's where my heart is. I want Spider-Man to be there and Tobey to pop up and, have a big reunion with Sam Raimi and the different multiverses and all that. But Spider-Verses. But it seemed like, especially with there's other Kevin Feige comments about when they were talking about the new deal with Sony and Marvel and how, Spider-Man's the only like character who has the superpower of like jumping into different universes or whatever. Basically pointing out the
cinematic universes.
Yeah, he's basically just making reference to the Sputnik, the Sony universe, and the MCU. So that's pretty cool. And everyone we kind of drew the lines where we saw Multiverse of Madness is coming out before Spider-Man. Maybe that breaks open, how Spider-Man gets to where he's going to go with Venom, with Carnage, with all the big characters. Maybe that's how. When is new Venom coming? When is new Venom coming now? Oh boy. Do you remember?
You're supposed to know this. You're the Sony guy.
I was in the middle of a rant.
I'm messing. I'm sorry. It's June 25th, 2021. June?
Yeah, June. Yeah.
That's when it is set to debut. I think it was pushed back a couple months.
Not 10 days after my birthday. Oh no, it was pushed back a lot. It was supposed to be October. Yeah, it was supposed to be October of 2020.
Oh, you're right. It was. Okay, yeah, it was pushed back a long time.
Yeah, well, it's because they had to because so did Morbius got pushed back significantly as well.
Yeah, and so did the Spider-Man.
The Sputnik's getting pushed.
Sputnik McButnik.
Anywho,
Doctor Strange.
If it affects Spider-Man, I care very deeply.
And if it doesn't, do you still care?
Of course, but just even more.
Okay, had to test it.
Go on. There's so much.
There is so much. I'm trying to remember where my quote. Okay, so that's a great quote to really start this off because it's going to be Madness of the Multiverse is going to be just. Multiverse of Madness is going to be insane. There's rumors that Blade will show up. There's it's confirmed that Loki sets it up.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That ties in.
That quote. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And he said, "Oh, dude, I don't know if I have that quote. Do I have that quote? I don't have that quote." He actually said at a certain point that it was at CCXP 19. Whatever that is. I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't know.
That, he's like, I don't know if we said this yet or not, but Loki will be setting up the Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. So he did say that. That theory. That's a good theory. Before we get to that theory, so let's talk about what we do know. Scott Derrickson is out, sad face, as director. He's still producing, which is awesome because he enjoys helping with that. Sam Raimi is in as director, which might mean more later on. I told you about my theories, my fan theories. Yeah, that might have more weight to it later on in the universe. So that's about all we know. We know that he's going to go through the multiverse. We know WandaVision ties in and kind of sets it up. And we know that Loki is now setting it up. So
crazy though about pointing out the Disney Plus WandaVision Loki tie-ins is that now with the pushback, it's going to have like before it was going to be, WandaVision kind of time-wise was leading right into Multiverse of Madness, and now it could be like a year after it comes out.
Well, it's more than a year after. When is Doctor Strange?
Doctor Strange is March, and then WandaVision is
March
still.
22.
The thing is, though, Disney Plus is not. That's what the news we're waiting for. Is that Disney Plus has not announced any movement when it comes to the release dates of the Disney Plus Marvel shows. So we don't. It's still. I mean, technically, it's still set for the end of this year. Is that it will start
December of this year? And I mean, to be fair, we've already covered WandaVision, but there's big news with WandaVision that their special effects is still running rampant, and they might actually be done with production.
There's been some weird back and forth with the filming and like, is it done? Is it not? I think the bottom line is that it's very close to being done.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I think that WandaVision is probably done because it's less. There's a lot of CG that they have to do, so there's a lot of previs that they have to work with already. So that WandaVision is going to be, in my opinion, the biggest film or Disney Plus series right out of the gate.
Yeah.
Like Falcon and Winter Soldier is going to be very grounded, but
so excited for
it because it is grounded, they can use a lot of practical effects like using wires, but the magic side of things with WandaVision is aggressively CG. So they have, I think, less physical filming to do. Than and a lot of other physical filming might just be like, hey, we got to throw you in a mocap suit for like this one weird scene.
Right.
Okay, whatever.
Anyway,
so Feige, I forgot his name for a moment. So sorry, Kev. There has been a fan theory coming out, as pointed out by somebody on Reddit. Gunner Saw Us, interesting name. Endgame created a minimum of 5 separate timelines as a direct result of events happening in the film, meaning the multiverse is already created and waiting for chaos to unfold. I want to that's a quote from an article that I'm reading. I want to input my own thought right here. We already know the multiverse exists. It's heavily mentioned over and over in the first Doctor Strange, and the Dark Dimension is a different universe. So we've been shown the multiverse multiple times because he goes on that trip through the multiverse in the beginning, that really trippy, awesome sequence. That's a trip through the multiverse. So we know it already exists. It's already been created well before Endgame happened. Just wanted to put that out there. Back to the quote. Using this theory, that would mean Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness wouldn't be about a trip between dimensions or worlds. Instead, it'd be about the Sorcerer Supreme traveling amongst timelines in hopes of ironing out the kinks so the multiple timelines don't somehow manage to fold in on themselves. We want to get even more technical, Strange himself had previously seen how the Avengers win, meaning it's all but guaranteed. He saw they traveled through time and created a half a dozen new timelines in the process. So
I love that theory.
That's a really good theory.
That gives me like a story beat, because that's what I've kind of been missing. Is that like, what is he like? Like, how does that work?
And that ties into what he said about retroactively affecting a Disney Plus series that's not WandaVision, which we know will be Loki. So that is,
which is in a alternate universe.
Exactly. And I don't think I have that other quote. Let me see. This is not the quote at all. Okay. So there was another quote by Scott Derrickson It was hard to. I read it multiple times and I couldn't understand what it meant, so I didn't write it down. But he was talking about already wanting to introduce the nightmare dimension, or the dream dimension in Doctor Strange 1. He wanted to establish that, but he said it was already an exposition-filled film with the dark dimension, so it was a little bit too much, which leads to the theory and the rumor that Nightmare is involved with the Multiverse of Madness, which will now segue amazingly to the fact that there is a theory, a fan theory out there. I don't have exact quotes. I just broke it down in simplistics. Nightmare controls Wanda in WandaVision, which is why she's constantly going through various decades, like it's a sitcom with Vision, and they have their family. Spoiler alert. Yeah. A potential spoiler alert. Sorry, it's a fan theory spoiler alert. And it leads to her, losing Vision over and over and over again, like in a nightmare, which leads to her having a mental breakdown, which, she's already been set up for this a lot. She was born in a war-torn country. She was very close with her twin. Her twin dies. Do know what it's I can't do her accent, but she says, you just ripped my heart out. Do you want to know what it feels like? And then rips out, a processor of Ultron. And then, she loses Vision. She's like, I don't have the strength. And Vision's like, it's not fair, but it has to be you. You have the strength. I love you. She freaking kills her lover, man. I got emotional. I got chills thinking about it. Sorry, I almost slipped on the FCC regulations there.
She's been through a lot.
And then when we see her in Endgame, she says, "You took everything from me. I don't even know who you are." Oh, you will. Like, wow!
And almost freaking wrecks
and since then, Feige has said, I would argue that Scarlet Witch is the most powerful Avenger now. And before Endgame, he was saying it was Captain Marvel. So, think about that. And also think about the fact that both of them were created with an Infinity Stone.
Correct.
They both got their powers from Infinity Stones, which is awesome. But the theory goes on that she'll have a breakdown similar to House of M, where she said no more mutants and destroyed the entire realms. But that this will lead to Doctor Strange having to step in to help out because it's a danger to all realities, which would then lead Nightmare into being a villain for this. I don't know if I can connect the previous fan theory with this fan theory.
Yeah.
That's a really tough one for me to make. Let me see if I can do this really quick. Sure, I could actually make that fan theory because, in the dream, if she gets ripped into the dream dimension, but she's stuck in a reality, then he's going to have to go through the multiverse trying to find her. And if it's fixing timelines, there's a very good possibility that Wanda has the ability to manipulate timelines on her own.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like that. I feel like she has that ability.
Yeah, not even meaning to, maybe.
Accidental. Exactly, like
accidental breaks in reality.
Well, she can control parts of our reality, so why could she not control parts of other realities and not control parts of all reality? What if Loki is actually just trying to figure out why everything's happening, and it turns out to be Wanda?
I'm telling you, I gotta enjoy Falcon Winter Soldier when it happens, just the groundedness of it, because once this stuff gets going, man,
I am the exact opposite. I'm ready for it. Like, I'm gonna enjoy the groundedness because I love on the ground characters like that. But I also I am all in on alternate realities, time travel, the multiverse, the existential. Put me in an ethereal story and give me non-linear storytelling. Like, it's my favorite. I love Chris Nolan. So
true. And it's the MCU. They do a great job of. They do a great job of explaining things thoroughly and making it clear to audiences. So all these movies and TV shows you would think will still be pretty casual viewers will probably they still try to make it so casual viewers can get 75% of it and the story of it. You know what I mean? Me and you will probably get all these little tidbits and oh my god, this, that, and the other. But someone just going to the movies to check it out with their 8-year-old is oh, good movie, fun flick, and then walk out. And then we're losing our minds.
Yeah, that's the key is, these movies are still made for kids.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and they make it very clear, like they want their movies to be PG-13, you know, and they like George Lucas, you know, are very clear. These are made for kids,
right?
Because we're trying to instill in the lessons we learned as kids reading these comics onto kids with a different medium, but the same characters. Like that's the whole goal of the MCU. And that, I mean, for the most part, I think that's the goal of most filmmakers.
Yeah,
you know,
and to leave us entertained for years and years to come and be geeks and nerds and just
well, you know, our lives too. Oh wow, dude! I just realized I didn't mention Meek's costume for Thor.
Yeah, you didn't. I thought about that.
Dang.
Quick aside.
Yeah, we're gonna jump back to Thor: Love and Thunder. If you have not seen these images, this is Meek's new armor. And if you're listening to the podcast, I'll explain it to you. It looks red. It's red and white. It looks like it was designed by, I don't know, let's just say Bruce Banner. And it has the same colors as the Endgame suits for the Avengers. It's an exoskeleton. Yeah, it kind of resembles the quantum suits. And it is also confirmed that Meek is a female, and they have her also wearing actual human clothes, dressed as a secretary, which is hilarious. You can
really
also
random
see
of any, like, you know, photos to come out. It's just that these random Meek like photos. I don't know. It's just so funny to me that's like that's what's out on the movie.
Well, he displayed it. Well, he showed it in his live stream. That came from the live stream. Along with a fake script with Tony Stark, which I was going to have you and I read back and forth, but I didn't feel like retyping it yet. I was so ready, and I was like, it's whatever. Yeah. Back to Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Let's jump to our final quote from Feige.
Yeah.
Let's remove the banner really quick. So in terms of when selecting a main character, unfortunately, part of it is when choosing a title hero, choosing which main character or main team you want to bring to the screen. And oftentimes it's as you're making and developing the movie, asking who will come into it and who will fit into it. End quote. Feige says of choosing the characters that go into the Marvel Studios movies. The producer adds, begin quote, the next Doctor Strange film, for instance, features some new MCU characters which will be making their debut in that movie. You won't expect or won't guess who it is, but we found a cool way to make it work because we want to make a particular type of movie there, and there was a character who we always wanted to do something with who fit really well there. So this article and this quote goes on to say, it's hard to tell who Feige's means, and it's entirely possible one or two of them might not be unveiled until the movie hits theaters. Previous reports have suggested both Brother Voodoo and Clea would be making their debuts in the movie. But if Feige and his team really wanted to get funky, they could introduce characters like Man-Thing, Else Bloodstone, or a Blade cameo. Which, you know, I'm for. I have been saying I think Blade could make his first appearance in Doctor Strange and come from another universe where vampires are like abundantly there, and that would lead to, you know, vampires in this universe.
I got a question for you.
However, really quick, Morbius appears to be tied in with the MCU, so vampires could already exist in the MCU.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
What do you think Mordo's role is in this movie?
So I read something that was a
villain at the end of the first one.
He is. There was a rumored synopsis that said an old friend and ally of Doctor Strange who loses his way and becomes a villain or something, antagonist, hinted at Mordo, and it's a rumored synopsis. I didn't grab it because it was,
we got a lot already.
We have exactly. We have a lot already. We're already pushing into our time, and we have 2 movies left. So I wonder. Like, to me, I don't know. Like, I couldn't see Mordo diving into the multiverse unless his whole purpose is to kill everybody.
Yeah.
Like, it's
he's
really hard.
He's gonna make an appearance though, you know, like he's gotta be in the film.
And that's what I'm trying to figure out is like, where does he fit in? Like that, he's the only wild card. Everything else, I'm like, all right, I think this is how they can do it. But how does Mordo tie in? Like,
I don't know
how he doesn't. He's been trying to get rid of sorcerers. So like, I would think that his take would be a little bit more grounded.
Yeah.
And again, maybe he's.
I don't know.
Okay. Aggressive fan theory. Even a spicy web alert right now, like all the above. What if Mordo is Nightmare? What if he goes to the dream dimension and becomes Nightmare? Like, what if he gains his power? Because think about it. The first thing we saw him do after he leaves the Order of the Ancient One or whatever they call it, I don't remember, is he rips out the sorcery from Jonathan Pangborn, and he says, "No more sorcerers." That's like literally forcing Jonathan Pangborn to become. He goes back to living his worst nightmare of being paralyzed again.
Yeah, no, it's terrible. I mean that sets him up for being a villain.
No, that's what I'm saying though. Is he forced him to go back to living his worst nightmare?
Yeah.
What if that's what he does? What if that's how what if the only way he can destroy sorcerers is to do that? And that makes him Nightmare. Mordo, the Nightmare. Like, wow.
I don't know. I like the idea. I just don't
like the idea. I don't think it works.
But yeah, I just feel like he almost is set up not to be as powerful as I think like a Nightmare would be, even though he is really powerful. But like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like Nightmare's almost kind of like Dormammu, it's almost kind of like upper echelon.
That's what I'm thinking as well. But
I like the idea of him being like a sub villain, like almost more grounded, like you said. Like maybe even he's like the lead villain. Like he's kind of starts the movie, and then you kind of see things are worse than both of them think. Like him and Doctor Strange like realize.
You know what I really want? I want him to be a part of the Masters of Evil.
You love groups.
Okay, first off, I do love groups. I love Thunderbolts and I love the Masters of Evil, but I love the Masters of Evil because it's like a Legion of Doom.
Yeah.
For the Avengers. Like it takes, okay, well, obviously we haven't done well fighting them on our own, so why don't we all join sides and go try to take the Avengers out? But then it gives a very, like, if you have Enchantress, which she's been in the Masters of Evil in multiple incarnations, it warrants Doctor Strange. But if you bring in Baron Mordo, that brings Doctor Strange in, and then Doctor Strange has an instantaneous foil. Everything Doctor Strange does, Mordo has an ability to instantaneously stop him.
Right.
He knows Strange well enough to know that he's going to do the most extreme thing. So as someone who's trying to bring balance to the mystical force,
I mean, I think one of the things is like jealousy. Is that a fight?
Yeah.
Is that a fight?
Yeah,
because like it was Strange who was almost like the chosen one. That's like, he's the sorcerer supreme, but not Mordo, who's been here for years. And
he's also been, his real biggest issue was rigidity in following the rules that were hypocritical from the Ancient One.
Right.
That's really his downfall.
Yeah.
So
I don't blame him. That was good storytelling.
At a certain point, he has to recognize. Like, I mean, this is just good storytelling, in my opinion. At a certain point, he has to recognize, I can take out these weaker sorcerers. The balance always comes due, right? But eventually, to make the balance come due, you have to elevate yourself to bring down the best.
Mm-hmm.
That is what makes Baron Mordo the most dangerous. And it has been years.
Yeah.
Right? What if he didn't get snapped away?
Yeah.
What if he survived?
Big question.
That gives him almost a full decade of absorbing power and doing things. Like,
I'm telling you, man. There's so much of these. Anything more on Doctor Strange?
I don't know. Probably.
Yeah.
We should move on.
Let's move on.
Yeah, we'll move on. Let's move on to these will be hopefully shorter. We're gonna move on to Black Panther 2, Wakanda Forever.
Yeah.
All right, man, we're gonna dive right in. We know literally nothing. I have
Yeah.
I have 4 bullet points.
We know it's coming. We know it's coming.
It is coming.
We know who's directing it. We know what is it?
May 2022.
May 2022, the big May release, and the packed 2022 right now. Especially if they keep that 5th movie in October.
I think it's Blade, dude. I'm still on that October release as a Blade movie rated R because it fits.
I wouldn't be stunned if they moved it, but I hope they keep it.
I don't think they're going to move it because, again, if they're planning to do an R-rated movie, which they've said that they're not opposed to, if it fits the character, Blade, it fits the character. Deadpool, it fits the character. Yeah. Why not try your first rated R movie with the first successful Marvel character to have a movie in Blade?
Right.
You know, and it was also rated R, and everyone knows Blade as rated R. Why water it down? Sure, you could pull a New Mutants and maybe make a scary movie at PG-13, but then you're losing the point of Blade. Blade is a very hard R character. Anyways, I digest. Thank you for getting my Family Guy reference. So here's the only confirmed thing we know. Coogler is coming back. Chadwick Boseman is coming back. End of knowledge.
Yeah.
So there are two big rumors on who the villain's going to be. Both of them are kings. Number one, we've already kind of touched on this. Namor,
yeah.
Imperious Rex. I got nothing. It's Namor. I don't know, since he has never been introduced. My assumption would be something happened during that gap and he's angry, or, you know, honestly, if his Atlanteans are beings, so they are part of that 50% that snapped away. They come back. He gets informed. Maybe he got snapped away. Oh boy, maybe he got snapped away and he comes back and he's livid. And, you know, they made that mention of an earthquake underneath the in the Atlantic Ocean. You know,
I was gonna say Okoye when they were in that little like hologram Zoom meeting in Endgame, when she's like, "Oh, we deal with it by not dealing with it with the rumblings underwater." Everyone took that as Namor. You know, like
the writers in their watch along with the Brandalorian have said that, you know, we like to do things that hopefully become something. They've already, like, Iron Man 2 from 2010 in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean is a blip. Namor. I've been saying it for years. I think that is Namor, and I will consistently say that I think that is Namor.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on from that part. The next very, very, very big rumor is the villain will be Dr. Doom. Bro. And this rumor has a story behind it, which is Doom has been expanding, is looking to expand his empire into Africa and comes into conflict with Wakanda because of this.
Mm-hmm. So do you think Doom's like been in the MCU this whole time? Do you think he'll be, I don't know. I mean, we haven't talked about Fantastic Four yet, but like, do you think he'll have this weird introduction, or do you think he's just like kind of been around? Like he's organically come out of the, you know, set universe in the MCU.
I would love if he has been around this whole time. Like Wakanda.
Yeah.
Like, hold on, think about it. It's perfect. Like Wakanda, he is a literal, he has powers of magic and dark sorcery and all of this crap, right?
Right.
So, oh my God, holy crap. What if one of those characters is Dr. Doom in Doctor Strange?
Oh man.
Like, I didn't even think about that, dude.
Yeah.
Like, he has magic powers. He's also green, like Mordor, also like Nightmare. Okay. Anyways, back to the plot. Sorry.
Yeah.
Wow, my brain hurt. That'd be that would be a great way to bring in Dr. Doom. And no one's guessed that. You know what? Feige, folks, fans, Joseph Lucanti, Doug, Papa Dragon, Alfred, anyone who's still in the chat, you heard it here first. I think Dr. Doom shows up in Doctor Strange.
Nice. I like it.
We'll catalog this. That's about all I got for that. So
yeah,
I like the idea that Doom or Namor. And there's a rumor that both Doom and Namor are involved, which would be, oh my God.
I mean, if they're going big, yeah, like they could. It's Black Panther May release date, like a real May release date, where like they did on purpose. Black Panther 1 was a phenomenon. Very, very popular, and Black Panther 2 will certainly be a $1 billion movie, I assume.
Oh yeah. And Douglas Radaw, aka Papa Dragon, says Doom has been hanging back. I like this idea.
Yeah. I like it too.
And he wants them to make Doom less cheesy than previous iterations. I concur, sir.
Yeah, I think it'd be cool if he has been kind of like, going up the ranks, like being, or, he's been younger. So now he's just kind of been getting older as the MCU's been going along, but it hasn't really been directly related,
So you know how there's that rumor that Fantastic Four are going to come out of the quantum realm?
Yeah.
Well, what if they all got their powers together? Because I don't remember if Dr. Doom actually gets his powers the same way as they do in the comics. I think he does, but I'm not a Fantastic Four fan. You are.
I actually don't know in the comics.
Okay. Well,
I'll let you down.
It's okay. We let ourselves down. Damn it, me. If, they get their powers and they go their separate ways, but he lives in, oh my, how did I just forget? Latveria. He's from Latveria. We've never heard of Latveria. Wakanda we never heard of until Age of Ultron. So Latveria could very well exist, and no one goes there. No one deals with them because everyone understands that Victor Von Doom is a tyrant, and to enter into there means certain death, kind of like a Cold War with them. What if?
By the way, I do not think Dr. Doom gets his powers like in the original Fantastic Four movie. That's not how it works. It's like from his family or something. It's like completely unrelated. By the way,
in the original movie, no, they definitely are.
No, I'm saying in the comics they don't.
Oh, in the comics, gotcha.
He doesn't. It's like he's separate.
Sweet, I like that idea way better. But what if Fantastic Four and Von Doom fought in the '60s and they go into the quantum realm and he's dude, oh my God, he sends them to the quantum realm because it's another
out at the end of Black Panther
because it's another reality, right?
Yeah,
and he has magic powers, right? And he gets introduced in. This just became a Fantastic Four film. And he gets introduced in Doctor Strange, and he's... What? Oh man. I have to think really quick. Read Doug's comic for everyone.
Which one?
The last two.
The last two.
Yeah. Seeing
the events of the 10 years and seeing a power vacuum where he inserts.
Yeah.
Doom sets up, piss off everyone.
Classic Doom. Wow, we're gonna get back on the Black Panther train because we went to Tangent Town on that one. So there's a rumor that they're gonna start in. There was a rumor that Guardians are gonna start filming in like February of 2021, and Black Panther would start filming in March of 2021. And James Gunn was like, I have to finish filming. I have to finish this movie I'm working on right now. And he's like, so that's not any news that I've heard of, but hi. And Guardians, I don't remember when their release date is. They don't have one, do they?
They do not.
Black Panther does, and March 2021 sounds like a really good time to start filming before a May release date.
Yeah.
So that sticks to me. I think that is in a ballpark. So it could, and that's just from, historical references of when they start filming and when the movie comes out.
Yeah, exactly.
Now we do have a hair bit of news. This comes from the Jimmy Fallon show when Angela Bassett, who I love her. I love her and everything. So when Fallon pushes a potentially big Black Panther spoiler, he says they're talking, Bassett and Fallon were talking about Black Panther and stuff. And he says, you were telling me backstage that they decided to change the costume of Black Panther. Bassett immediately goes into Marvel PR survival mode. Jimmy, I was telling you that in confidence. I cannot. Fallon quickly tries to cover by claiming that he's joking, but then he just as quickly admits that he's probably gotten Bassett in trouble. Bassett, meanwhile, did a perfect pantomime of proverbial proverbial Marvel Studios PR sniper team taking her out while on live TV. This has become a big part of pop culture. I don't know whether to take this. I don't know if this is serious or just full on joking.
Yeah.
Because Fallon is the type of person that could easily just drop something like that as a joke and be like, let's mess with everybody.
Yeah, he's just joking.
But also be like, by the way, let me drop this for everybody.
Yeah, and it's not like a crazy spoiler. Like costumes change all the time. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, like if they changed it in a drastic way, whoa. But
yeah, I doubt it though. I think he'll probably get an upgraded kind of looking suit, which just sounds sweet.
I mean, he has
to. We already saw that. Yeah.
If he doesn't, that'd be weird because Shuri literally talks about always upgrading. So
exactly. Anyway,
what do you got for Black Panther 2, man? Like what are you hoping for?
Yeah, not much more. I mean, the whole Doom thing we just discussed opened up a lot more ideas in my head, but I think Namor could be cool. Like, I mean, a lot of fans are pining for Namor. I'm not necessarily one of them. I think I'm curious how it would like work with the MCU because like an underwater character like Namor or like an Aquaman, they're kind of like, I don't know, like really powerful and like have a lot of like it's a huge character to introduce, especially if it's just like a one movie villain. And it's how would that even work with like fights and all that? That's just a bunch of logistical questions. Like I would like. Yeah.
Do you know much about Namor? Like, you know that he's like Aquaman and he's extra strong and all that stuff, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But
I didn't mean to cut you off. Continue.
No, you're good. It's just, I mean, super excited. I feel like we're gonna get a lot of kind of Wakanda, Wakanda, like I guess kind of ripple effects from Endgame. Mm-hmm. And I'm curious to see also where it's going to be in the timeline of all this stuff we're discussing. Because this actually, this movie will be, I think, more of a grounded, quote unquote, movie than some of the other ones, not jumping universes probably and not in space. Mm-hmm. So, I'm excited to see it. It's going to be a huge movie, like I said. And Coogler's back, Chadwick Boseman's back. So I'm excited.
My final thoughts on it are for Namor. They can introduce him here, but they can also go tie it back in like they do with the comics that he was a part of the Invaders with Cap. We've already seen the original Human Torch, the
suit in First Avenger.
Yes, I'm trying to remember John Thurman, something like that. Mm-hmm. So there's already some setups there that the Invaders could have been a thing. And let's be real, the Red Skull would have 100% been trying to take out Atlantis, right? Like he's that kind of guy. Right. He believes in myths and fairy tales and stuff like that. So perfectly within the realm of possibility that he gets introduced and then we get like a backstory later on.
I agreed with this comment, Douglas. That's kind of what I'm saying. Like, touch on Wakanda, really like dive into the post Thanos world. Like,
I agree.
Especially like in the MCU, I feel like we're kind of pushing for the future so much that like I think there's gonna be a lot of effects of like the past.
Are you ready for this? Wakanda helps found SWORD. It took me a while. But I almost said SHIELD, but
leading right into Captain Marvel 2. Great segue.
They give SWORD technology they need, and help them, create a what did he call it? A net around the world. A suit of armor around the world. Yeah. So, but for Doom, I think the storyline would be because many people have tried to invade Wakanda. They said in the opening of Black Panther, they've been warring factions for hundreds of years.
Mm-hmm.
It's very possible.
Yeah. Sounds good. Speaking of sword.
Speaking of SWORD, moving on to Captain Marvel 2, which until this week, I had zero things to talk about.
Yeah.
What came
out this week?
Okay. What came out this week is a rumor that there's going to be a secret invasion show that will plant the seeds for Captain Marvel 2.
Mhm.
And I believe I have the actual quote here. Yes, so I will go ahead and read this. There is okay, so they were talking about Captain Marvel 2 rumors that were going on. Yeah. And then at this point in the quote, this is where they say, this is where the social media scoop gang is coming in with their claims of Marvel's live action future. A trio of scoopers came together to back Bleeding Cool's January claim of Marvel developing a Secret Invasion series for the Disney Plus streaming platform. This series is being rumored as a direct lead into the Captain Marvel sequel, which would seemingly be where the meat of the event takes place. Mm-hmm. At least this is what high-ranking social media Whisper Gang member Daniel Richtman is claiming. The film could be a similar ensemble in the vein of Captain America Civil War, one which features several major supporting characters, but keeps Brie Larson's Captain Marvel hero at the front of it. That sounds... It doesn't even sound that bold to me. That sounds like the perfect evolution of Captain Marvel's story. Mm-hmm. She did not get snapped away. She has been trying to protect Earth and protect other worlds. And like she said, there's a lot of things going on in the universe. Yeah. That is, we know that we already know about the Skrulls. And Feige has said that, not all Skrulls are good and not all Skrulls are bad, much like humans. So there's bound to be a faction of bad Skrulls and there's bound to be a faction of good Skrulls. Right. I also read I should have screen grabbed this too, that they're looking for a director with a high name who already has experience. I think it was a director that has experience with Spider-Man and world building was the exact quote. Okay.
Interesting filters there for a director.
Yes. No, like that. No, it might have been that's what they're rumoring, but like that's what they said. And then it said, does that mean Sam Raimi? Question mark. Right. And then I thought about it. We have, Sam Raimi was 1 through 3. Was it Drew Goddard that did Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2? Who was the director?
Mark Webb.
It was Mark Webb. Yeah. Okay. And Drew Goddard was Sinister Six guy. That's right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right. Exactly. That whole movie that was supposed to happen, but never did.
Yeah. I'm trying to think.
Another thing I heard about Captain Marvel 2 is that it's supposed to kind of lead into the next big ensemble movie, as in like Avengers 5. That's a big rumor, which makes sense. Mm-hmm. In this timeline, this character, like the scale of it.
I'm trying to remember. I can't remember for the life of me the director of the Homecoming and Far From Home.
John Watts.
John Watts. Thank you. Because of
please ask me the Spider-Man questions. I got
what was the web? Oh wait, who?
John Watts?
No, John Watts and
Mark Webb.
Mark Webb. Okay, I knew there was a W. I was like John Webb. That's wrong. John Webb. That's still wrong. John Webb. You're not getting closer, Thomas. It wasn't right the first time. Why would it be right the next 25 times, you idiot?
So they're saying John Watts could do Captain Marvel 2, is what they're alluding to.
No. They were just alluding to someone who has experienced world building using other characters and Spider-Man. Mm. Like that was what they were saying. So it could be any three of them. Now we know that John Watts was being rumored to have his own MCU film, despite Spider-Man going to Sony. That was big rumor. So it could be him. Did I say the right name? John Watts.
John Watts, you nailed it.
Okay.
Yeah.
The W's are killing me right now. So, really quick before we get any further, Doug, the reason that I'm okay with the Disney Plus series tying in is because Feige's directly involved, and it's another medium to get more characters out there. And he has said that, you know, we have other ones that directly tie into like WandaVision ties directly in. And he said that these are mini events that are going to give good character building so that when you see them in their next live action film or their next film that they're in, they're going to have all of this history that you have now been able to watch. So it's kind of, I think the idea is Disney Plus is to close the gaps down. But I agree. It's sketchy, and I also urge caution because safety first. So when it comes to the directors, man, Sam Raimi's about to be in the Multiverse of Madness, which looks to be the first major crossover film. You know, like Thor might have some other characters, but it's gonna have some, you know, Eternals might have some crossover, but you know,
not as much. No, not nearly.
And Black Widow is going to have crossover potential, but it's all in the past, so it's not as big of a deal. So Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness is bringing in Loki somehow, bringing in WandaVision also somehow, and is rumored to introduce a bunch of new characters, which might be very important for Captain Marvel too. We don't know.
Yeah.
And Sam Raimi has been shown that when you let Sam Raimi do his thing, Spider-Man 1 and 2, I'm looking at you, he knows what the hell he's doing.
Yeah.
I think he was brought on to help with Doctor Strange 2. But why not him also be a part of Captain Marvel 2 to then go on and direct the new Avengers movie?
That'd be crazy. That would be crazy. I mean, especially because Derrickson was supposed to be the director and they kind of split ways.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm not ruling it out, but that would be crazy.
And then they bring in Sam Raimi for this movie, but they were already kind of talking to him about Captain Marvel 2. Possibly. Oh my God. I almost said specifically. Possibly.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to move away from the directors and we're going to jump back into this quote. And I want to reread this specific part. This series is being rumored as a direct lead-in to the Captain Marvel sequel, which would seemingly be where the meat of the event takes place. It'll be in the vein of Captain America Civil War, which features several major supporting characters, but keeps Brie Larson's Captain Marvel hero at the front of it.
Right.
So, okay. Are you ready for the insane part of my theory here?
Wait.
July 2nd, 2022 is when Captain Marvel 2 comes out.
Yep.
We've got just under 2 years.
Yep.
Big, fat, capitalized letters, if and only if. That's right. I used mathematicals from geometry. Thank you, high school. If and only if this theory is correct and this idea, this rumor, what would be the show? I looked at our schedule. We have shows all the way through 2021, right? We don't have anything scheduled for 2022. However, we have Miss Marvel, Moon Knight, and She-Hulk confirmed Disney Plus series.
Correct.
I looked at these and I narrowed it down to which ones I think would tie in. I thought Moon Knight, because there's a version of Moon Knight. I do believe that he's involved with Kree. I think he fights Kree. I could be wrong. I don't remember the full thing. But I scratched out Moon Knight because it just didn't feel right. I'm using the Force here, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just going with gut feeling. Yeah. This is like all fan theory. This is all fan speculation. This is Thor speculation.
Yeah.
I made up a word. Also a spicy web alert because there's no telling where I'm going with this. So then my next thought was, okay, Miss Marvel. Captain Marvel, she admires Captain Marvel, you know, things like that. Why would it not be Miss Marvel? She wants to follow those and it's like, oh, you know, she learns about Captain Marvel and learns that Captain Marvel was got her powers from the Kree and befriended the Skrulls, and then finds out that this secret invasion is happening. But I went ahead and decided to look at who the writers were because I was trying to think of like that's a big deal.
Yeah.
Bisha K. Ali is like a comedian and a writer, and she's involved. And I feel like with Miss Marvel, because it is a child, they're gonna keep that story a little tighter. You know, it's gonna reference things like Spider-Man did.
Right.
Maybe a cameo appearance here and there, but
Kind of grounded.
Fairly grounded. You know, there's a lot going on with that character.
Yep.
Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
I think it's She-Hulk. Here's why. Number one, it's written by Jessica Gao. She wrote the Pickle Rick episode of Rick and Morty, which won an Emmy. She's involved with Rick and Morty, which is what? A universe-hopping series of massive multiverse.
Yeah.
She's also been involved in Star Wars Detours, which was a parody created by Seth Green. That's right, Seth Green. And that was going to be a parody take on the events between 3 and 4. And it had 2 seasons of stuff done. And then Disney bought Lucasfilm and it got canceled. And it has 2 seasons completely ready, but unaired.
Oh.
She was a writer on that. Now, the reason why I say She-Hulk is, okay, look, we know Bruce Banner won't be the only Hulk anymore. We know that Jennifer Walters is a lawyer. What if our introduction to She-Hulk, you got to have something that is strength, right? Something that can take on the power of a Hulk.
Yeah.
You know, like Hulk is kind of like he's kind of a heavy hitter. He's kind of a big deal. You know what I'm saying? So She-Hulk is also kind of a big deal. Whatever way she gets her powers will be an episode or 2. And then her figuring out her powers will probably be the whole series.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm assuming that there's rumored to have Bruce Banner what's the word? Involvement. And Mark Ruffalo wants to be involved. And, you know, in the comics, he actually helps teach her how to use his power, how to use the power. So like that's right there out in the open. And he's been out in the open as Smart Hulk for a long time.
Yeah.
Now, this is where it starts to get fractured and like tangential.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm going to try and wrap this up really fast. As a lawyer, and this is super speculation. I know nothing. I got to throw the banners up because safety first. The ability that she has as a lawyer is to try and validate, right? Mm. You try and prove theories. You try and prove someone was guilty or prove someone was innocent. Right. What better way to introduce the idea of a secret invasion than with a lawyer defending someone who is seen on video in 2 places at once?
Who?
Anybody.
Oh, anybody. Okay.
Literally anybody. She is defending someone.
I see what you're saying.
She's defending someone that is like, oh, we have video of you on here. And it's like, but I was here. You know, like I was doing this.
Right. Yeah.
And then they finally get the video. And that's the big deal is, well, how can you be in 2 places at once? We don't know. Like, what's the deal? That could be like episode 3 or 4 too.
Yeah.
Like if she in her human life is trying to do this case and then she's also learning her powers or something and trying to subdue it, like trying to not lose her temper. Yeah. And then that is like, boom, the middle of the season, that would explode into understanding what's going on.
Cool. Yeah. Especially
when she's like, oh, hey, Bruce, like how did this happen? Like, what is this? Well, you know, I know these guys, they're called the Skrulls. They can shapeshift. Let me reach out to somebody. And then it's like dominoes, man. That's the dominoes right there. Because they say it's a secret invasion show. I don't think you have to do a secret invasion show at all. Like, you know, like Civil War, for example, was a big deal. And when it came to the Infinity War movie, there wasn't much setup. Like, it's really just Ragnarok, and then you jump right in. But in terms of the actual amount of setup of that plot, the real plot of the movie, mind you, is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
There is none. There is no plot set up for that movie in any way. We just know that the Infinity Stones are a thing, and we know that Thanos wants the Infinity Stones. That's all we need to know for that movie going in. For Captain Marvel 2, all we'll need to know is that Skrulls have infiltrated Earth and they're trying to commit crimes. Let's say the crime that's committed is like breaking and entering into a top secret facility and stealing some major piece of equipment, and they do it for a villain that we don't know. Because I love Secret Invasion, the Queen. You know, let's say that happens. And what better way to tie it all in than if you do that and you make the villain be Talos and his wife's daughter?
Ooh.
Because the ends justify the means.
Yeah.
You know, like 1995 will have been, this hurts me to say, like 30 years before Captain Marvel 2 comes out in terms of real time.
Yeah.
Almost 30 years, but in the movies it could be 2026.
Yeah,
we don't know. It could be even further down the timeline. Like, who the hell knows, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Like that's
cool.
fan-thoried
I'm
really
excited for
hard.
Captain Marvel 2. Like, I feel like it actually has, like, Captain Marvel 1 was an origin story, so it kind of had to, like, there were some training wheels to it, you know? Like, there was this, like, the setup and all this. And I hope it kind of bounces around with some different timelines just for the character's sake, just kind of getting to see what she was doing in the in-between time or what she was doing during it. You know, like, I'd like to see those sort of things. And I think it could really be a big way because, I mean, they want to put her on this pedestal. I mean, she is the new, like, captain of, like, you know, potentially the Avengers in the universe. And she is this very powerful character that I think it's a really big opportunity for them to set up the next big crossover event, like an Avengers 5, perhaps, and really start trying to tie in some, like, real thing, like some bigger, greater threats, perhaps.
Okay, dude. All right, think about this. Captain Marvel 2 sets up that the Skrull invasion has happened. At the end of it, what if Captain Marvel loses? Like, what if they lose? And then you find out at the end of that, because this is going to be the crux, the information that you'll need for the new Avengers is like, they don't win. Because that's the expectation, is they end up winning. So, like, you always expect them to win. Yes, exactly. It is a blank canvas.
Yeah.
And we are painting it very well with thoughts. So you just, like, you oh my God, they're gonna win. Of course they're gonna win. And then at the end, they don't win. And they lose, but they're able to fend off just enough.
The kids run out crying.
Where it's like a stalemate, you know, and then it's like, oh wow. In a way, yeah. But it's like, oh wow. And then they, like, end it with going, like, you know what? That's not going to work. What would have to happen is they'd have to win. They'd have to think the threat is over, but they lose 2 or 3 of their comrades in arms to literally being on the ship and replaced with Skrulls.
It's kind of laying the seeds, the groundwork. I like that.
Exactly. Now, here's my thought. I've always felt that Secret Invasion would work better as a long-term saga than a phase. So
I agree.
The amount of weight that I'm willing to put into this theory, despite having all these great ideas, obviously, is very little, because now Secret Invasion leads into Captain Marvel 2, and then maybe it ends and we never think about the Skrull invasion again. Right. You know, they think they fended them all off, and only to find out later on that, no, you pissed them off and now they're everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, that would work, but I don't know, man.
We'll see. And like Kevin said, it is a blank canvas, and like we're just trying to, like, and we really don't have much in this movie at all. Like, we'll have a way better idea of, we're speculating just like what the general gist of the movie could be. Like, when time starts going by and we're getting, like, it's filming and
Monica Rambeau, little Photon is now
Yeah.
adult. Like that's got to be it. That she's gonna be in that. What if she's a
I mean,
Skrull?
she's in WandaVision.
No!
Yeah, I mean, who knows? You know, we don't know. I mean, we saw in Far From Home. You don't know who's the Skrull.
Yeah, exactly. Like that was the perfect seed, which is why I think that Secret Invasion will be more of a long-term thing than a short-term thing.
I think
because, and I think it should be too, because in the comics, they set that up like 3 to 5 years before it happened. So when it happened, it was like, oh, wow, we really don't know who could be like, you need a few more characters. Like, really, they need a Spider-Woman because Jessica Drew is like huge in that story.
Yeah.
Along with Luke Cage and their child and just, like all of it. It's crazy.
Yeah.
All right.
Man. Yeah. MCU has, I mean, the MCU in general, I like that blank canvas. It really is. I think today's conversation really showed off that it truly is, especially the later projects that we really like. There's hardly any rumors on them. And the thing is, it's funny, we haven't even gotten one phase 4 film yet, and we're still talking about like the end of phase 4, you know?
Yeah.
Where, I mean, even just after Black Widow, I feel like we'll have so much more to like be able to dive into than we do right now. Right now, yeah, like right now it's very like just rumors and speculation, and we really don't know, you know? So I think it's so exciting I'm just ready to get it going, because I'm almost getting tired of like, it's just going to be rumors fighting rumors for the next until things really get going, you know? So I can't wait for Black Widow in that sense, just to get the phase rolling and see that post-credit scene or whatever, some sort of tease for the future.
I am jonesing really hard, really bad. And I hope that Falcon and Winter Soldier still comes out in August, because I don't know if I'll be able to survive till November. Like Star Wars will help, but like November is like prime time when I start watching Star Wars before Christmas, because like it's my thing. That's my real Christmas. All right. Thank you all for tuning into this episode. David, where can everyone find you?
Yes, you can find me, David J. Thompson on TikTok, on Instagram, David Thompson on Twitter with 2 A's in the David, and then just my name on Facebook. Thomas, how about you?
You can find me on Facebook at Thomas Carter Rochester -actor, TikTok at Thor Son of Dale. My Instagram is at Thomas Carter Rochester, all one word, no hyphens, no spaces. For Twitter, it is at TC Rochester Act. That is TC Rochester ACT. And of course, you can find these live videos that are recorded. They're not live when you see it on Life of Thor YouTube channel with a bunch of other things. It's basically becoming my resume site at this point. You can also find these cataloged on Facebook here at Lights, Thunder, Action Podcast. David, where can they listen to our podcasts?
Yeah, so you just want the audio version of the podcast, you can go to Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and Spreaker, our hosting site.
Bada boom. Thank you all for tuning in to this week's episode of Lights, Thunder, Action. Next week we'll be on part 5. I mean, do we need a part 5?
I don't know. We'll see throughout the week what we want to do.
We'll play rock, paper, scissors.
MCU's getting real thin now. You know, we're almost over. So look out for something new. Look something different. Of course, the news. What the news will always be here.
We'll have the news, and we'll have something else.
Yes,
we'll find out. We're at the end of MCU. We already just broke ground on She-Hulk. So like, you're welcome, Feige. Miss Marvel we touched on. Moon Knight we haven't touched on. Blade we haven't really fully touched on. But at the end of the day, it's like Ant-Man 3, which doesn't have a date. So it's like now we're just at speculation season, which I feel we shouldn't even do. Like, it's just gonna get longer. Like 2 straight episodes of 2 hours.
Let us know, you guys watching, if you guys want better, what you guys would want us to talk about next. That is a little more, evergreen, not a news story. Anyway, thank you all for joining us.
Thank you. We love you. And Monkeys in the Back, play us out.